Hey everyone, welcome to EdwinOlvera.com, aka The Successful Freelance Dancer. In this particular Saturday session interview, I get a chance to speak with Nichelle Suzanne. She's the owner and editor of DanceAdvantage.com, which is an online blog which caters to teachers, performers, dancers, anyone who's interested in knowing more info and wonderful information about being a dancer and the whole life that goes around it. This is actually our second interview. The very first time we had one about a month ago, I had some technical difficulties with my recording devices, and so because we had such a wonderful time chatting, we were able to do this again. In this particular session, we talk about like how Nichelle got into this field of work of being an online blogger. She's also a mom of two, a wife, an entrepreneur, and she's also a teacher at a community college. Lots of information, lots of insight about this life of a blogger and also how she got into this field of work. I would highly recommend that you take time to listen to it all the way through. Take some notes. If you have any comments, make sure that you leave them down below. If you love what's going on here, make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel as well as to Nichelle's and her content that's presented online. All of her social media links will be listed at the very end of this video and down below in the description. And we live in a time right now where it's important that we do share other people's stories, that we do take the time to listen to what people have spent 7 to 10 years of their life in the dance realm and give people respect, and also make sure that we connect others to websites like danceadvantage.net because people are looking for wonderful resources, and this is one of them. With that being said, enjoy this amazing interview. What was the first sign in your early childhood that you knew or your parents knew that you were going to become a dancer?
Well, I think I started lessons maybe even a little late compared to some girls, that start really, really young. But I think I was 5 or 6, so first grade or so I began lessons, and it was a new studio at the time in my little hometown. My mom is a vocalist, so we're kind of in the arts world type family, so performing was always a big part of what we did, but I think very early on I decided like movement was my thing, probably because it didn't involve as much talking. I was always a little shy, so that was probably the first real indication that maybe that was the right thing for me. But I just fell in love with it. I really fell in love with moving. And I had a great teacher that really drew the young artist out of us. So I kind of connected to that very early on. So, yeah.
What was the style of dancing that you started, had your first exposure into movement? Which one was it? Was it ballet? Was it modern?
I did start with a ballet class, and the studio taught ballet, tap, and jazz, like most studios do, but we also had creative dance classes, which I think I started with that maybe a couple years later, and that was really, I think that's where I really fell in love with moving, was getting that chance to, those structured improvisations that are very much a part of creative dance. I really, tapping into dance as a form of expression was really key for me. I love doing ballet and all of those others too, but I really enjoyed the creative dance aspect.
Yeah, creative dance is what I've been specializing in, or I've specialized in over the last 11 years. As you know, I do freelance work with Pilabolus and was a member of their company. And to think how powerful creative movement, improvisation, just having just a little seed of an idea can all of a sudden, create a massive, 20-minute piece. It's unbelievable how, just little things about, okay, let's just play with the scarf, a silk scarf, right? Or let's play with a prop, or let's see how we move somebody through space under a time constraint. Like, it's interesting how these little games cause you to create quite a bit of work.
Yes.
And we in our last conversation that we talked about how you know that we both had a mutual influencer, which is Anne Gilbert Green or Anne Green Gilbert. I apologize.
Gilbert. Yeah.
Yeah, and inspired by her books about brain dance and you know, creative movement for adults. I would highly recommend that as a good read for any young teaching artists or anyone in the movement field.
Absolutely.
Who needs something new and different in their life, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then as far as blogging, you know, when did you get started into doing that? Like, what was your transition?
My transition to blogging was when my son was born. He was born in 2007, and I had finished up the season of dance before and made a move to the Houston area for the second time, actually, and I found myself not teaching. When we moved here, I was like literally 2 weeks away from delivery
Oh my God.
of my son. So there was no teaching going on at that moment. And I was, you know, it was part boredom and part wanting to stay connected to the dance world. And I met a lady who was a mom, I think at a stroller fit class or something. And she was blogging about mom stuff. And it was a light bulb moment because I realized that an idea that I had about starting a website about dance that offered students kind of all that information that they don't have time for in their regular classes.
Yeah.
I had this idea of having this portal or access point for some of those kinds of conversations that teachers like to have with students. But it had kind of been on the back burner because of time issues. But then all of a sudden I hit on this blogging thing. And I had been using a blog personally to keep family updated with pictures and, you know, belly shots or whatever. And so...
Belly shots.
Yeah, exactly.
I just had a quick flashback on when my wife, we took photos of her belly. She had a ribbon around it, handprints. You know, is it a boy or girl?
Right. Yes, all those funny things we do as parents or parents to be, for sure. But yeah, it was like it was suddenly I realized that a blog could be something that could be used in that way, and it was easy and convenient. I started right away with WordPress, actually WordPress.com, the free version. I did that for about a year and then moved to self-hosting it. After I noticed that, like, wow, there are people reading this. So it kind of came about just from all of that. And I had always, you know, kind of liked writing. But I ultimately thought, you know, well, maybe I can do something with this site or this writing, but it was never really, I had no idea what I was doing, basically.
Sometimes we go on this new path in our life and we don't even know, first of all, that we're on the path, and second of all, there's no GPS system to tell you that you're going to get lost really bad, and in the process of being lost, or, you know, you'll find your way, and you'll all this weird idling of like extremes. You know, what should I do next? Who should I talk to? Where should I go? How do I make it, you know, streamline my process? Like, all of a sudden you just know, and it becomes less and less.
That's right.
Of a struggle, yeah. And then when you you know, obviously when you're doing this blogging, what was like maybe one or two obstacles in the very beginning that you were like, oh my God, how do I deal with this? Right, when you were lost and trying to find your way.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. You know, I think all along the way there's been these sort of because I feel like we're carving this path, at least in the dance world, as far as websites and being online and offering content and something that's sustainable over a long period of time. There's been all kinds of small obstacles. I think just knowing which path to take sometimes is an obstacle in itself.
Yeah. But
in those cases, I think I look to other sites in other fields for inspiration and direction. It's not obviously a tech blog model or a mommy blog model doesn't always work for the dance world, but I think you take lessons from some of the things that are going on in those more established genre, and kind of go from there.
Got it. It's almost like a quick example is like I've noticed other people who are talking about like having that ability to have that lifestyle where you can travel and make money and on the internet. But it's interesting, although I might not resonate with what they're presenting, but just their simple layout of what they're doing and how efficient they are with their layout, their design of their website. It's easy. It draws attention. It's easy to read. You're not distracted. There's not. In our last conversation, we talked about how sometimes websites can have all these flashy things on there and can detract you from what you're trying to search for, which is knowledge or information. So,
right.
Yeah, how do you streamline that look?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, we also talked about coding. Who's helped you in the way of just even learning some of the basic stuff, like when you had to put an ad up or?
I took a semester course in college that was supposed to be, it was a computer programming course, and I took it I think as this, I don't know if it was a summer course, but it was one of those I had to fill an elective kind of thing. And I took computer programming, and we got in there, and the guy was like, well, computer programming at this point, everybody's learning HTML, so that's what we're doing, HTML and JavaScript. And so that's what we did, and I'm still living on that course as far as my basic, HTML knowledge. And honestly, thankfully, sites like WordPress, software like WordPress really, they do a lot of the work for you. You have minimal amount of knowledge, usually enough to be dangerous, is how I put it. So I can go in. I have some basic understanding of how things work behind the scenes, and I've learned a lot more since I began. But yeah, that one HTML course I'm still living on for sure.
As for me, a lot of the stuff I've learned has been through like YouTube videos. Like I saw somebody have a really good. First of all, somebody's website was really interesting. I'm like, well, how did they do that? And then finding out what the definition of what that little thing was that interests me, and then looking online, like, oh my.
Yes, yeah. I think I'm somehow either intuitive or just have grown in my Googling skills over the years, because it's like the answer to all the world's problems right there.
Google it or ask another friend.
Just Google it.
What did you Google for? Just so I can find the search. Oh my
That's
God.
why I'm often amazed when I get emails from folks, and we get all kinds of emails at the site, and you never know what kind of questions you're going to get. But there have been a few along the way that I'm like, why did you just not Google this? Why are you asking?
Save the time. Save your time. Save everyone's time. Just go online and Google it.
Yes.
Oh my God.
That's what I would have done. I don't know.
And I'd love to take a quick moment to comment about what your audience members are seeing on your website is hours and hours and hours of being looking for information, resource. A lot of your own personal stories, or people, you have guest bloggers come in and comment.
That's right.
So it's a lot of hours. So what I'm trying to get at, the main point is that what people see that seems so smooth and efficient when they interact with is like, who knows, could be hundreds of hours of your own personal time, energy, emotional effort, and everything, to like make it right for people to admire.
Yes.
And interact with.
Absolutely. From the writing to all the behind the scenes fiddling that you do, that's inevitable from, site crashes and you never know. It's all kinds of fun stuff that goes on behind the scenes, like any performance, right?
Yes.
Looks smooth and streamlined from the front end, and is quite a different story usually in the back side of things.
It's like a digital production is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. That's all it is.
Right now, what's inspiring you, like, as a person, as a blogger? Again, it could be a good book, it could be a trend with music, or what's going on around us in the world, or even movement. Maybe there's some dancer in another part of the world who has some interesting things they're presenting with movement.
Sure. I just, I think, what inspires me more than anything is people who are choosing to do something that they love, but also something that helps people or helps the world, or and that seems like a grand thing, I guess. Lots of people do that in very small ways. So when I encounter just truly people who are leading with their hearts, with their passions, and kind of sending goodness into the world, because we definitely need more of that.
We sure do.
It feels especially relevant lately, but just those kinds of people inspire me, and there's a lot more of them than I think. It's easy when you watch the news too much. I try not to watch the news too much.
I don't have TV. I don't watch anything.
Yeah, it's just you start really, really feeling like the world is not a good place, and I think that's completely inaccurate. I think even people that disagree with me on lots of things, if they're sending their heart into the world and loving people regardless, I have so much respect for that. And so, the people that are really doing good things inspire me.
Yeah, that's wonderful. You're right. We need it. We need it now. We need
Yes.
it. We need it fast, and we need a lot of it.
Yes, absolutely.
I'll share a quick story of how people are doing some great things. I this morning, it's my first time ever, but I went to a thing called November Project. I'd never heard of it until less than 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it was my first time interacting. Basically, it's people who are working out together, who have been working out together for almost 3 years. It's pro bono, and they work out every Wednesday and Friday, rain, shine, snowstorm, whatever.
Yes.
That's great. We all need to be a part of something, whether we're a part of, say, interacting with your blog or with my blog, or even in the dance community. People want to belong, and when people are doing it out of kindness and just wanting to help out, it resonates so much faster, to see 100 people this morning kicking their own butt in a rainstorm. It's crazy,
Right, exactly.
Oh my God. But I would love to see what that whole mommy stroller fit. That'd be kind of interesting.
I think I went once. It was fun, but yeah.
But you can only do so much with a stroller and a child screaming. So
yes, that's
I got
right.
it. Okay, if there's something you would like to try that's new and different with your business, what would it be? And it could be something as simple as maybe just a layout, or I don't know if having video posts or something.
Yes, I think I've been trying some new things, I think, with actually downloadable content has been one of sort of the new focuses. The blog is pretty well established, and obviously that must continue. I mean, I think the free content, open content, has always been something that, and not just free content, but free quality content is something that I think has been really important and has always been the focus of the site. But I'm finding now that there's so much content on the site. Sometimes packaging some of that content around themes for convenience for people as a download. None of these huge are huge price point type things. Some small packaged content, but another way to deliver that to people who are looking for something faster. More convenient. They don't have to search for hours looking under one kind of subject. Mm-hmm. That's sort of something I've been exploring a little more. And I think we've been exploring a little bit in terms of how to work with advertisers in a way that benefits everybody. I've always kind of felt, there's sometimes there's this negative view of what advertising is, and it's, you know, just kind of sucking off of the consumers kind of thing, you know, but, you know, making it that it's a support, just like everything else, making it part of the content that's that people want anyway, but working it into sponsored posts or having sponsorship of certain, even some of the downloads. You know, we've been talking about doing some sponsorships there. So, you know, it's a way to keep things free, right? I mean, we like to say everything's, you know, everything on the internet is free, right? But it's not.
because your time, effort, energy that you are taking away from, say, if you're not teaching, you know, that's, and you know, those are say teachable hours where you're getting paid, or chunks of time. Like there's an exchange. And speaking of like advertisement and sponsorship, like if there's companies that you believe in and that you love their product, I feel that we shouldn't, that the audience should also be you know, mindful and respectful of your decision, because it's like, if, like, for example, there's a really wonderful like raw protein shake brand that I love taking when I'm on the road, because I don't always, you know, I don't want to eat at a fast food, whatever.
Right.
And I thought maybe I haven't done this yet, but I thought in the future I would love to be sponsored by this group, because I love their brand. I think it's a part of me, and having that on my website, if it's a part of me as an extension, why not? You know, as long as it's brands that I admire or sponsorships that I admire.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing. And that's some of that behind the scenes stuff that people don't see, you know, sort of the vetting process, and, you know, the fact that, yeah, it's not like we're just slapping ads up there to have something, you know, it's all very, it's all very targeted, not just to sell things, but so that we can be giving the right things to readers and consumers of the content. So yeah, so much goes on behind the scenes in regards to just those elements to make the site work, and work for everybody, myself included. Time.
That. You're like, whew. Myself included. I know, right? Time is everything.
I'm always last on that list, by the way. Yeah. That's part of the issue sometimes.
I know. I already have a tight schedule, like with my personal life and my family and my work, and it's just like, oh my God, I'm working in the in between hours. I'm getting very little sleep. We know we both go through this as parents.
Yeah, absolutely. What's sleep? I don't know.
What's sleep? We'll get it when we're on vacation, if we're on vacation, right?
Right. That's right.
What's a like a future collaboration that you're going to do? And it could be with your website, or it could also be just for yourself. Maybe, you know, with your family and kids, or it could be with a separate coworker at where you teach dance at the
college.
Yes. Is it North Star College? I think it was called.
Lone Star.
Yeah. I apologize.
Yeah, good old Texas.
Community
Lone
college.
Star. Yes. Well, I currently collaborate with Catherine Tully at fordancers.org. We've done a lot together in the past couple years, and that came out of an in-person meeting at a dance conference, actually at a Dance USA a few years ago.
Oh, wow.
And you know, we had circled around each other. We started blogging. I think she started the year after I did, essentially. So we knew of each other, but it wasn't really until we met in person that that kind of, we really got the chance to see that we were on a similar path. And you know, I think that's been invaluable to that whole process of continuing for me, to have somebody that you're kind of, you know, alongside, you know.
Yeah, you can have these open
to vent.
Yeah, to vent, have open dialogue. Like, hey, did you ever go through the situation with your site or whatever? Oh yeah. How did you interact with this person who said they were going to send something they never did? Like, oh yeah.
Absolutely.
It's like peer mentorship, and it's almost like weird therapy, like, you know, because you're both going through the same thing.
Like,
That's exactly right.
she knows your woes.
Yeah, and I think it really came at a good time. You know, for me personally, in my personal life, it was just perfect timing, I think, to really find a partner in that regard, a blogging partner. And then, you know, as far as future collaborations, I'm really open. I find, you know, what Catherine and I have done together is strengthened in our partnership. And so I think that we're both looking and kind of open to ways to bring more of, it's kind of like creating a company of friends, right? And,
Like-minded
you know, and
people.
Pilobolus was a little like that, right?
Woo-hoo!
It was like a company of, so, yeah, it's bringing people into the fold that have another piece of the puzzle, you know, is what I would like to do eventually. I think that's a goal, you know, of really being able to strengthen the whole thing by making it a bit of a conglomerate of individuals with special talents, and because everybody brings something to the table. So
absolutely, it helps to delegate some stuff. Yeah. And that's the other part of the journey. You're not sure who's going to show up in your business to help you out, or
you
give
never
you
know. Yeah.
What's an advice you would give to the freelance dancer that is going out into the world and wanting to get exposure of themselves or with their business, or even, you know, if they don't have any advice on with business, you know, what's one thing you would tell the dancer about, you know, just being an artist, and then the other thing about them being a professional?
Yeah. Well, I think certainly just because, you know, we've been sort of talking about this, especially, I think it's so super important to have that kind of online presence now, you know, so from absolutely. A marketing yourself standpoint, for young artists, and to realize that, you know, with the internet being the way it is, that applies to everything that you do. If you're going to have a, you know, public Instagram, if you're going to have, you know, everything ties into your presence now. And it's not that everything has to be about marketing yourself, but that, I guess just a reminder that you are representing yourself out there. And so remembering that is always a good thing.
Yeah, because you never know who's looking at it, like your future boss.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's so easy. I mean, I think, employers, I guarantee they're Googling you and looking at all of those sites, you know, to see if they want to work with you. And when it's out there, who can blame them? So, yeah, you're responsible for what people see.
Yeah.
But yeah, having that presence, I think, is important. And then I think as an artist, I would just encourage dancers to really try to follow their curiosities and their interests along the way. That sometimes we get very, very dance, you know, it's a very streamlined path, very dance focused, and there's nothing else going on because you're just dancing all the time. But I think following those little side interests sometimes, and bring them into the dance work, you know, if the opportunity presents itself. But whether it's, you know, other forms of art or science or computers or, you know, all of that stuff, I think is, it develops you as an artist. And as an interesting person. So I think the more interests that you have, the stronger an artist you can become.
Absolutely. And then when you have conversations with other people who are not in your field of work, you're informed. You know, you can talk about some scientific discovery, or you can talk about you know, some artists have hard times with public speaking. You might get into that, and next thing you know, you're sharing your insights of what you discovered going through a course on public speaking. Like, you never know. Or gardening. I love being in the garden, and I don't have one here anymore in Milwaukee. But, you know, you find other interests, and you slowly can also build a different audience that you would never expect it who would come in the future support your dance collaborations or projects.
Yeah, it's such a non-linear career path, and so I think that's one of the great things about it too, is that there is that freedom of being able to follow those interests. So yeah, that would be my advice.
Thank you.
If I can give any.
No, you've given plenty of advice. It's all online. Go to danceadvantage.com. It's right. All there. We come to the lucky 7. This is a quick 7 questions. We did it before, but it's going to be, we'll see what comes up this time around. Lucky 7. First one. Yep. What's your favorite drink?
Drink.
Yes.
Coffee for sure. The mom beverage of champions.
Caffeinated or decaf?
Oh, caffeinated.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah, come on.
Okay, and where would you like to travel to?
New Zealand.
New Zealand, the north or the south?
Yes. It doesn't matter. I just like to see the islands there. I have a good friend that lives there, so seeing her and meeting her kids would be really nice. So.
Got it. Your favorite actor?
I'm so bad with this question because I think it changes, you know. I don't know if I have an all-time favorite actor. Lately I've just kind of really been admiring Jennifer Lawrence. She's still really young, but I think she's done some quality work, as well as I really like that she's become sort of a strong role model for young women, you know, from kind of standing up for herself in the Hollywood world, as well as you know, her body image and all that stuff, that she's just being really honest and straightforward about. So I think I will stick with her.
I thought you were going to say Brad Pitt. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
yeah. I'm just kidding. It's terrible. Yes. Do you love cats or dogs?
I think I'm a dog person overall. Although I have a cat right now, mostly because they're easier to take care of. They don't need to be walked every day.
Yeah, I know. Let them run around the house.
Yes, having dogs it's a little like having children, and I already have 2 of those taken care of right now.
Me
so
too. I'm good.
I stick with the cat, but yeah, I am kind of a dog person.
Got it. If there was a person you can meet tomorrow, who would it be?
I am a big U2 nerd, so I would like to meet Bono, actually.
Oh, awesome.
I think he's doing a lot of great work charitably, and I'm a fan of the music, so.
Yeah, good songs. Yeah, he does a lot. He's almost like, it's like, does he ever sleep?
No, I'm not sure he does.
A language you would love to learn?
Spanish, for sure.
You live in Texas, too. There's plenty of Spanish.
I know. I should know a lot more than I do. I took French in high school, but my son is in an immersion program here, so he's been, since first grade, he's learned all of his regular elementary school curriculum in Spanish.
Yeah.
It's a full immersion program, so he's actually, 4th grade fluent at this point.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so I would like to learn at least enough to be able to, maybe know when he's telling secrets to somebody else or something.
You're like, ¿qué dice? Huh? What are you saying over there? Come over here.
That's right.
And the last one, your favorite dessert?
I am a dark chocolate anything fan. So, typically I don't do a whole lot of sweets. I try to stay clear of them overall. But I do, that's kind of my dessert after dinner is always just some dark chocolate. Mm-hmm. So
a little piece or half the bar?
No, not half the bar. I'm very good. 1 or 2 pieces usually.
Oh my God, that's wonderful. Nichelle, can you just share with people again your ways they can find you online? We know danceadvantage.com is the main blog that you're have a lot of content on. What about on other forms of social media?
Yeah, and it's danceadvantage.net.
Got it. Thank you. Danceadvantage.net.
And then, yes, I'm on pretty much all of the social sites / Dance Advantage. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Google Plus. There are probably others if you look around. Those are the ones I use primarily.
Got it. That's wonderful. And just like a little side note, and this is a comment that I said to you in the very beginning when we first connected less than 3 weeks ago, which is about like where you're from. I said it wrong. I apologize. I think I said it more the Italian, but it's Bellefonte.
Bellefonte, yeah.
Bellefonte,
yeah,
Pennsylvania.
They'll know you're not a native if you don't.
Yeah. I was kind of reading it like almost like Italian or French. I was like Bellefonte.
It is French. The founder, and it means beautiful fountain.
It is beautiful.
Yes, and that's because of the spring that's there that supplies the whole town's water. Right downtown, near my old dance studio, actually, this spring pumps out like gallons and gallons a day, and supplies the whole area as water.
So if whoever's listening, and I know you are, please stop by there in Pennsylvania. I would say it's about like 10 minutes. I think it depends on where you're looking, like east or west from the University of Pennsylvania, Penn State, and it's just beautiful, beautiful scenery. Great. I mean, what is the design? I think it's like Gothic or Victorian.
It's Victorian.
Victorian, yeah.
Victorian architecture. So there's some of that Gothic influence, I think. Yes, a lot of really beautiful buildings downtown, old buildings.
I know.
Some of them have not survived. They've had a few fires, unfortunately, since I moved away, even. But they're really trying to revitalize, I think, that whole downtown area, and lots of pretty little bed and breakfasts popping up with the old Victorian homes there. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, Nichelle, thank you again for your time. I really appreciate it, and I'm honored that you gave me the second time around. However, I look forward to sharing your story and this message that we were both putting together out online for others to share and listen. Be well, and I'll talk to you soon.
Great. Thank you so much.
Ciao. Hey everyone, this is Edwin Olvera from Edwin Olvera Dance and Creative Services, aka the Successful Freelance Dancer. I'm interviewing today Cindy Marziani from California, and what's so great about this interview is that Cindy has interviewed one of my friends in the past, which is Becca Sigmund from Kinetics Dance Theater. And so I had when I was looking to searching out dance blogs, I read the article of Becca, and I said, oh my God, I have to find out who this person is. And then as I reached out to you guys and to your company, and have done research on what you do, I find it to be very fascinating and resonate with the dance field in general.